I saw a show, and Al Satterwhite, who's a great photographer, had one of these prints, and I asked him about it, and he gave me the guy's number.
Was there a rhyme or reason to the order to become your photographs thing?
Yeah. I guess a lot of times it's the relationship that the photographs have to each other as you go down the line. And, color also versus black and white plays into it. I think I kept the cars over there because I thought they looked all good together instead of cars and motorcycles, instead of separating them up. But like those over there, like there's the laughing one where like someone's telling the story and Bruce and Stephen and Nils are laughing. And I think that, Gary and Max over there, this whole happy section over here, starting with Bruce laughing and then to Danny, to Clarence, to the guys laughing, to the little storytelling, and then Bruce telling a story over here, to the Seeger Sessions band. I just felt like it all worked, so yeah.
You mentioned he's very instrumental or he's very involved in the selection of just seeing the Bruce do work, and he's a decent photographer.
Yeah.
Does that make him a more difficult subject? Do you prefer people that, are oblivious to the film process, so they don't try?
You know what? I like people that participate, because some people you show up and it's like anything. Some people are better at it than others, and I think that some people know how to be present in a photograph, and some people are really nervous and they're just not comfortable, and you have to work extra hard to find that moment. Bruce, I think he's the type of guy that he's there, he's present, he's participating. It becomes a little bit of a collaboration, from the way he presents himself to the camera to the way that he allows me to be in the room and he's not paying attention to me, whether it's because he's busy and he doesn't have the time to pay attention, or the fact that he knows I'm there to document and let me just forget that Danny's here, And I'm not in the room trying to chat him up like while he's recording a record, I'm like hiding in the corner. But like the one of him falling back on the couch was during the Seeger Sessions. And he had, they'd been recording all day, we were there all day, the energy was great, the vibe was great, and they were about to take a break, and he just was laughing about, the great music they were making and having a good time, and I just jumped right over there, like waiting for that moment, and shot a couple of frames, and I got out of the way. And so it wasn't like, I asked him to sit there, or, I was trying to tell him a joke or anything, I just sort of, just jumped on the moment, so to speak.
Is he an easier subject at 60 than he was at 50?
Yeah, I think he's got it, What can I say? But it is helpful to know. I'll tell you also, for me, on a personal level, you work with someone and he's just a guy, whether you know him really well or you've just met him. I've noticed that he really has a way of making people comfortable, and just, whatever he's doing at that moment is really important to him, and he always treats everybody the same way, whether it's, whoever, a celebrity or, the president, or like, somebody who's, running cable at the show, I don't know if anybody here has ever met him, but he's always like really just a super relaxed guy who seems to make everybody comfortable around him. At least that's what I found. So that makes it easy for me, and now that I know what I'm in for when I show up, it's easier, for that reason. Yeah. Any more questions?
You show a lot of different celebrities.
Yeah.
Do you ever get that? I'm sure you got it with Bruce when you heard, but like right before you gotta meet them and shoot them, do you ever get like nervous and like wonder if equipment is one thing, but just the interaction between you and the person.
Yeah, I definitely get nervous. I guess there are people you admire, and I've sort of learned to like turn off my nervousness. I get in there and I'm like, okay, it's like I mean, I found myself being really, really nervous about going into this situation, and you either can, you know, shrivel up and crawl into the corner, or you can just kind of go for it and see where you get. That's what I try to do. So, do you have a question?
Yeah, you were saying that he actually has a hand in selecting, and
Yeah.
kind of gets you involved in that.
Yeah, I send my photographs over there with edit marks on them, like you know, grease pencil marks on what I like, and I've got a system that says, you know, this one's good, I like this one a lot, and this one I love, you know, box with a couple X's on it or whatever, and then he'll send back his he'll, you know, use a different color grease pencil and go over them and decide, you know, I like this one, or, you know, if there's one that I really like that for some reason he doesn't like, he'll make sure I know that. And then he really you know, the people who've been doing his art direction lately, the crew at Sony, have done a really great job, I think, with his packaging and his tour books and all that. And they, you know, they'll go through it with him as well, and you know, it really matters to him. You know, he's not just saying, you know, oh, show me the stuff, and you know, but he goes through and makes his selections and has an awful lot of input into it. So. Yeah.
With the demise of film being produced,
Mm-hmm.
paper being produced, what's going to happen 10 years down the line? Are you going to switch to digital only?
I'm working on a chip for my eyeball, so that when I go in, I can just wink at you and I don't know. One of my favorite cameras to shoot with, is one of these printed on that? That would be actually strange that there's a Polaroid film that I use a lot that has been discontinued, and you can't find it anywhere. If you find it on eBay, it's like $5 a sheet, you know, to shoot it. And I don't know what people are gonna do really. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Hopefully the digital will get better. I mean, I've shot digital before, and it's amazing. I mean, it's like you can shoot in really low light without a flash, which works for me because I don't like using a flash. I like to use the existing light or make light that's, you know, consistent, not a flash going off in someone's face all the time. So, you know, it's just, to me, it's like digital, when I look at a digital print, it's very flat to me. It's just very like I don't think it wraps around from the side, you know? And I mean, there certainly will be people who will be like, ah, you're crazy, this is fantastic, you know? And I'm sure it's beautiful and it looks good and all that, but you know, I work on actually my digital photographs that I have taken. I have a guy who works in my studio, really smart young guy, knows the computer backwards and upside down, and we actually have like a couple of different filters or looks that we have from the different films that I have, like Tri-X. I shoot Tri-X all the time, and I have, you know, the really grainy photographs. Or if I have like, you know, this film here that I've used in the past, it has like a certain contrast to it, and you know, I'll say, hey Josh, you know, put the you know, the TMZ, you know, look on that one, you know. So that is EPH, which is like a high-speed film, and I rate it a certain way, I push it, and then I cross-process it. So it's a higher speed film. What I liked about it before digital was it was a higher speed film that had contrast. Most high-speed films get really grainy, which I don't mind, but they get really flat. And up until the digital prints, it was hard to get that flatness out of it. Like, they would be like, yeah, they had papers that were a little more contrasty, but you couldn't like really punch up the shadows. And it's a whole different ballgame now.